Alright, I think we have it good now. I just spent way too much time trying to get like set up for this Q&A, and I do not have any good backdrop at all, so we're just gonna roll with my desk. Anyway, guys, what's up? I posted a photo on Instagram at Wright NWB. Please follow me there. And I basically just told you guys to ask me something, ask me anything. I'm bored, I want to do a Q&A. You guys asked away. So, in order from the top. Favorite type of wristwatch? Definitely an Audemars. I love the APs. I love Rolexes. Rolexes are definitely the most flashy, so if you want to impress everybody, impress the ladies, impress the general public, everybody knows the name Rolex. You kind of have to be into watches a little bit to know what an AP watch is, but if you do know AP watches, then you know they're like, what's your favorite exercise to increase your bench? The bench press, specifically with a pause though. I'm telling you guys, add a pause to your bench press, you will see a major difference in power overall. That control at the bottom, combined with the raw power needed to blast it up from a dead stop, will translate so nice into your overall bench press power. If you weren't in the industry you are now and went to school instead, what could you see yourself studying and why? I could never see myself in school, honestly. I decided at a very young age that I didn't want to go to school. I'm talking like junior high. It took a lot of like willpower and my parents yelling at me to even stay and finish high school. I just knew from a young age that I was creative and that I learned really well whatever subject I had an interest in. If I had an interest in it, then I'd take the extra time to study it, research it, and learn it, and apply it. But any subject that I didn't have an interest in, I just hated having to learn. And I also have a lot to say on the U.S. school structure in general. I think the education system in the United States is terrible, but that's a whole different subject. That's a whole different rant. Will you ever again compete in a physique competition? I don't want to say never, but I can't see myself doing it in the next few years. When I was cutting for that photo shoot, I was playing with the idea of doing a bodybuilding competition again, but midway through, I realized that I really just don't have a genuine passion or interest for it. Like last night, I had to like calm myself down and go to sleep because I was so fired up and excited about the thought of competing at this powerlifting meet in May and competing in nationals after that. And I remember I used to have that same excitement and drive and fire about bodybuilding, and I just simply don't anymore. So you never do what you're not excited to do. You never do what you don't love to do. How did you and Ariana meet? We actually met on the 4th of July in Block Island, which is a little island off of Rhode Island. You actually take a ferry to get there. It's a big tourist attraction. Awesome place. We love it. And on the 4th of July, everybody goes there. It becomes a shit show. And we met there. Our entire school went there. It's not like a school trip. We all went there on our own, but everybody from our school ended up there partying on the beach. And that's basically where I met her. We went to the same school. We were in different grades, but we always hung out with the same group of friends, and we'd always bump into each other at social events like that. So that's pretty much how we met officially. How hard was it to start your diet back up? It's always the hardest the first 2 weeks of dieting. I tell everybody that. The first 2 weeks of dieting are always going to be the hardest. That's when the cravings come in. And even if you do flexible dieting, if it fits your macros, the simple restriction of calories is going to be hard, regardless of how free your actual food variety is. Are you coming to the Australia Arnold? Not that I know of, though if I do get the opportunity to, I definitely will. I've never been to Australia. I'd love to go sometime. Highest weight you've ever been on a bulk. 196 pounds was the heaviest I ever got. I've never broken that 200 pound mark. My height is 5'8", by the way. And let's just say, my girlfriend loves me for who I am, which I'm grateful for. But she did one day while I was 196, pat me on the stomach and go, babe, you don't need to get any heavier than that. It was the sweetest way of telling me, don't get any fatter than that. What would you do career-wise if you didn't have fitness? See, I always thought these questions are interesting, but kind of pointless too. It's literally like saying, who would you be if you weren't born yourself? Like, I really have no way of knowing that. I did love the music industry. I can tell you that my plan, actually, this might actually help answer that. My plan, my senior year of high school, was to open a custom car audio store with my friend. We loved installing custom car audio, subwoofers, customized systems, fiberglass, and the whole 9 yards. And we had started something called CQ Audio, and our plan was to basically open up a shop. That was going to be our career in life. And then I ended up deciding to do one more bodybuilding show, and it was at this bodybuilding show that I ended up getting my first sponsor, doing my first photo shoot, doing my first DVD shoot, and starting YouTube, and then basically started my whole fitness career from there. So I guess it is possible that custom car audio would have been the route that I would have went, opening up a business, but you really never know though. What is it like being sponsored? Man, being sponsored is a great feeling. It really is. It's surreal. And it doesn't matter what level of sponsorship you're on. I've been at the level of sponsorships where, you simply get free product and you might have a discount code that gets you commission. And obviously I've worked up to the point where I actually get salaries now. And it is one of the best feelings in the world, man. I mean, it's just so crazy to know that you can bring something of that much value to the table that a company wants to actually invest in you and have you repping them and rep you back. Like, it really is a surreal feeling. Being sponsored was always a huge goal of mine since I was really young. At the same time, it does create a little bit of pressure because now that you are sponsored, you have to perform. So you not only have to make sure you're meeting your end of the deal, as far as like, depends on what you get sponsored for, but if they want you, if you're Instagram famous, they might want you to post a certain amount of times on Instagram for them. You got to make sure you get those photos taken. They're good quality photos. They do well on your Instagram and you get them posted. That's obviously a really, really easy job to do. That was just like a general example, but you have to make sure that you deliver your end of it. So you do have some responsibility now. You can't just do a free-for-all. If you want to quit social media or take a break from it, you might not be able to if you're under contract and they're expecting performance from you. So you got to remember that. You are kind of tied down to whatever you're doing now. There is also the pressure of making sure you stay relevant because you know that if you do start to fall off, you could lose that sponsorship, So, and obviously you don't want to tie your whole identity to that. Understand that whatever you're doing now is only temporary anyway. No one stays famous forever. No one stays the best athlete in their sport forever. The sponsorship's not going to be there forever. You're probably not going to be able to retire off of the sponsorship. So obviously you can't tie your whole soul to it, but while you do have it, you want to make sure you uphold it. But it is definitely a great feeling. I'm grateful as ever to be sponsored. Ever going to move out of Rhode Island again? I'd love to. I love Southern California. That'd be awesome. Even Florida. Florida might be a little too humid for me, but I could see living there temporarily anyway. Ever visiting the UK? I really hope so, man. I'm actually really surprised I have not been there yet with all my traveling. What started your passion for weightlifting? Huge fan, by the way. Love your videos. You're a great inspiration as well. Thank you. My passion for weightlifting? I have gone over this in tons of different interviews. I'm sure you can find them online. Just Google it. But in short, I was always into larger-than-life people. Arnold Schwarzenegger. My uncle was a bodybuilder. And I was always into the idea of being jacked. I loved it. When I was this little 11-year-old pipsqueak, I'd walk around flexing my traps thinking I was Arnold Schwarzenegger. So eventually, I started researching bodybuilding, and I've told this story a bunch of times, but in short, started researching bodybuilding, became hooked on the idea, wanted to become a bodybuilder. I wanted to be Ronnie Coleman. Are you still friends with Boston Lloyd? Yeah, man, me and Boston are boys. You might see us ball busting each other here and there on Facebook, but that's just how we are. But yeah, we're definitely still cool. He just lives in a different state now. What's the best way to put on muscle mass? Clean bulking or dirty bulking? Definitely clean bulking, man. All dirty bulking is going to do is just give you fat on top of the muscle gains. Favorite compound lift? The bench press, because it's the funnest. Actually, my favorite one for years has always been the shoulder press, just because of how cool it is. It's like the ultimate show of strength. You're lifting something. You're benching over your head. Like, how badass can it get? Would you rather work out in a home gym or a normal gym? Normal gym all day because of the energy in it. Do you smoke bud? Nah, man, I don't. I do not. I don't like weed. I really don't. I know it calms people down usually. It makes them chill, but not for me. It just makes me feel really self-conscious about myself, and I don't like it at all. And I'm not just saying that to seem like a goody, fitness personality. I like drinking. I'm having a little bit of whiskey right now. Just a little splash. Just a little splash. Popeyes or KFC? KFC, I've never been to Popeyes. Also, how do you feel about vegan diet? Just wondering. I mean, if your preference is vegan or veganism, then that's awesome. I get where vegans are coming from, and I do like the fact that they have the compassion that they have for animals. And I know me saying this and then continuing to eat meat it's kind of contradictory, but whatever.